Alright, so I'm making this YouTube video about a book. I was having a real hard time understanding how it all went together, so thought other people might have the issue too. First thing I did, I started out by creating the book, and what I was trying to do was get my companion's affinity to show in a message in the book, and add it to the player's inventory. So, to do that, you're going to want to set the global equal to your variable, which I created here, just an empty variable. And once you have the book set up, just going to take another quick look at it, what you want in the book. You can go down here, and I created a container, this container right here. That's going to store my reference to the note. And, priority 0, you just make pretty much a blank quest. And you add your variable to right here, under the text display global. Once you do that, you're going to want to create your aliases. So that would be the bag. And I created the bag. Force the reference to the bag. Nothing up here is checked. Just a normal reference. Then I created another reference for my book. And what I did in here was, I named it. You have to check use as stored text. And then I created the reference to the object. So I created the book inside of the duffel bag. And once I did that, I went over here and created my quest stage. So I needed to create a few properties. This is going to be my actor property that I ended up not using, my affinity variable, my affinity book, and my alias for the book. And what I did here was, I actually go back in here. I didn't use this variable, and I didn't use the book variable or property. But what I did was, I got the variable, and I set the value. You can set the value to anything you want, but I set it to get my companion's affinity and set it to an integer. And every time you run this quest fragment, it's going to check that variable. So it's going to update current instance global, and it's going to get that variable. So now what it's doing is, when you add the item to the player, add the book to the player, it's going to put this updated variable inside that book where we called it. Or set it. So it's updating this variable inside the book. Open that up again. And then we add the item with the updated reference to the book. Now here's the problem I was having. If I added the object, if I got the alias, got the reference, and I added the base object, it'd give me the note without that variable in it. And if I added the alias reference, it would just give it to me one time. And I didn't know how to get around that, but I had a little bit of help, and this is what I figured out. So this is where I call my quest, and you can call it any way you want to. You can have it run on start, but pretty much when you open up Mary Jane's holotape, you're going to get to choose one of these options. So when you choose her affinity, it's going to show you from Affinity in a message box. But this wasn't working for the Xbox players, so that's why I did this whole extra step. So I did game, get player, remove item, because if you don't remove the item and you just keep adding the item, then it's going to look like a whole mess and your variable is not going to show up properly. So I removed the item, then I set the quest stage to 10, and that's when this script runs because it's on 10. And after I set the quest stage, I waited 2 seconds, let everything catch up, I guess. And then I resetted the quest, stopped the quest, and then restarted the quest. By doing this, it recreates that reference alias, and that's how I'm able to get this reference alias multiple times instead of just like once with the information I wanted. So when this quest restarts, it recreates the reference inside of the duffel bag. And it took me way longer than it probably should have to figure that out. And I want to make sure nobody else runs into that problem. So I hope this helped you out, and hopefully you don't have the issues I had. Enjoy.